What's happening, everybody? It's your boy, Earth Mac, the Mad Scientist.
And Vivo.
This is the Orange Peanut Show Anime Breakdown Live on this fresh week, fresh off the heels of WrestleMania weekend. It's been, it's been a crazy weekend as far as pro wrestling is concerned. If you haven't watched WrestleMania or haven't heard what happened at WrestleMania, you got to be hiding under a rock because Cody Rhodes finally finished his story. He defeated Roman Reigns to be the undisputed World Heavyweight Champion, and he was on the Today Show early this morning. A combined 145,000 fans over day one and day two of WrestleMania. So it was like maybe 72,000 or so per night. But very successful show, and what a lot of people don't know about WrestleMania weekend is like that's one of the biggest. That is the biggest weekend in wrestling because not only WWE does stuff during the week as far as like marketing and everything else, other wrestling shows, other wrestling like companies, do like Friday night shows or Friday shows or Saturday shows or whatever because they know they're going to get maximum attendance because they're going to get the house. But and I watched a lot of GCW shows. I watched a lot of TJPW shows, Ring of Honor for sure. And there is a blurred, goes by the name of Athena. She is the longest reigning Ring of Honor Women's Champion in history, and I think she broke one of the Ring of Honor male wrestlers' record as far as her title reign is concerned. So she's actually in the top 3. So that's actually really good. And she came out
just as Carla.
Oh, you saw that?
I saw an article. I was like, oh, that's so awesome. Yay, yeah, Carla.
Yeah, she's a Baldur's Gate fan for sure. Also over the weekend, I know I announced earlier this week that Brave Bang Bravern actually won the voting. So, we listened to the people, and the people have spoken over 121 votes. And Brave Bang Bravern won that vote. And then, of course, we're going to be covering that this week. And we're going to be covering Ninja Kamui episode 9 because I'm a little perturbed about episode 9. But first, Vivo, before we get at anything, you want to say what you've been dealing with over the week? I know you had a meet this weekend. How did that go for you?
Yes. This past weekend, I was in Indianapolis at Circle City Strength to take my World Raw Powerlifting Federation referee practical exam. And I'm happy to report that I have tentatively passed it. I'm just waiting for the official notification to come through. And I'll be able to actually ref WRPF meets after that.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about. Like, shout out to Vivo, man.
I'm
Vivo
excited.
Doing her thing out there. I know you are. So first off, we're going to jump into some Brave Bang Bravern. So Vivo, I'm very anxious to hear your thoughts on the first. Let's start with the first episode. What was your thoughts on this?
What the hell is going on? What is this? The entire time I was like, what is happening?
The whole time?
I mean, up until Bravern showed up, I was like, oh, okay. Mm-hmm. They were like, where are these coming from? I'm like, obviously they're aliens.
Yes. Yeah.
And then he showed up. He is so... I'm like, wait. He's like, get inside of me. Isami is so confused. He's like, what's happening? He was like, what's happening?
Yeah, who are you?
Yeah, I thought that the animation was good. Yeah. I don't know. I was getting like, I don't know if it's like supposed to be kind of like a parody, but not really.
Yeah.
But it's also, I think it's also kind of interesting that it's like the Bravern is basically self-aware I mean, he looks like a really cool Gundam that has a lot to say.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I for me, the jury is still out. I need to watch more episodes.
Yeah.
But it's been interesting so far.
So let's break down this first episode, right? So when it first started, it was like in a serious tone because Asami wanted to be a hero. That's one of the things that he really wanted to do, like to stand out above the rest. But he decided to join, the military, and they pilot these TSs. So with the TSs, I saw a good bit of CG. So when I saw the CG, I'm like, oh, dang it, there's a bunch of CG stuff. But I got into it because it was like a training session. And with the training session,
joint training.
Yeah, joint training between the U.S. and Japan. And Smith was, he reminded me of like this hotshot type of pilot. And he reminded me of the pilot from Macross Plus a little bit. Or like Tom Cruise in Top Gun, because he was kind of like that persona. And Asami actually beat him once that training ends, but I guess they broke a rule, both of them. And Smith like, what was your punishment? Well, my punishment is this: I'm got to clean toilets. And he meets the mechanics, and mechanics is obsessed with the TSs. Like, listen, this is what this is. It's based on the pilot. My work is flawless. So this is what you got. So it wasn't like a whole lot of introduction to like the characters. And once the alien showed up, and we found out later it was called like death drives or something like that. So once the death drive showed up, then you see Bravern, which you don't get any rhyme or reason where Bravern comes from. He just shows up and he starts talking, and he was like, yo, you Asami, I need you to get inside me right now. I need you to be a pilot, and we can take down these jokers together. And he was like, why is this music playing in the cockpit? Like, don't worry about that.
He was like, where is this music coming from? And he was like, now announce our special attack. Why do I have to announce it?
Like, just do it. Just do it. I think that's the thing I enjoy most about it. This anime right here with like the sexual undertones reminds me of this mecha. Well, I can't say undertones because it's like out there, but it reminds me of this mecha called Go Danner. Have you ever seen Go Danner?
Mm-mm.
So Go Danner is not on Crunchyroll. Surprisingly, it's not on Crunchyroll. I think I found it on High Dive. I think it's on High Dive.
Okay.
But Go Danner has some of the most beautiful mecha animations I have seen in an anime, like outside of Macross Plus, of course. But it's like new age type. It's not CG. It looks like hand-drawn animation. And when Bravern shows up, do it look less CG and more animated, like hand-drawn animation when he showed up?
Yeah, yeah, compared to like the TSs, and I can't remember what what are the ones that the US uses? They're called something else because they're supposed to be a step above the TSs that Japan uses, but I can't remember what they're called. But yeah, his animation is definitely I less CGI-ish feeling.
Yeah, more like brightly colored. And so Go Danner is like that. And this what this reminds me of, because with the pilots in Go Danner, you don't have just one pilot, you have two. So two pilots pilot their robot, and they actually to fight mimetic beasts. So these like fleshy aliens or whatever, and they use these mechs, and every mech is different. And typically they're like couples, or they're really, really close to each other. So you have one where it's like, well, it's a bunch of like married couples, and then there's one where the female's like more dominant and the male's like right here at the bottom. And you know, someone dies and someone comes back to life, and then someone dies and come back to life, and some of them are dead and stay dead, but you don't know that. So when Bravern shows up on the scene, when he shows up on the scene, and all this bravado that he's like projecting, Go Down and does exactly that, but with humans. Like it is crazy. But Raven's like, yo, quick, like jump inside me. We got to do this. And I had to play it twice because I wanted to know if Asami heard the music we were hearing. And then I saw that subtitle like, why is music playing? Why is music playing? Where is that coming from? Don't worry about that.
He literally, that's not important right now.
That's not important. Man,
I like how he like when Asami gets into the cockpit or whatever, and then like the console kind of materializes around him, but then there's like a little handle or whatever that appears out in front of him, and then he goes to reach it. He goes and reaches for it.
Yeah.
And then Braveheart is like, "No, you're not. We're not ready for that." I'm like, then why did it materialize?
He stopped him right then and there. Like, no. Don't look. You handle these. Like, these are the handles that you use. Don't touch that lever right there. You're not prepared for that. You're not well trained. You're not well trained for that. So, now it looks as though I call it like the Goku complex, like Dragon Ball, where you do have other people that are capable of fighting, right? But they solely depend on Bravern because they see like Bravern was the only one that can kill off these death drives. Like one punch, dematerialized. But everybody else got issues. Like they can't get past the shields. Like I wonder if that's going to change because they were just completely helpless in episode 1.
Yeah. I thought it was also interesting seeing because when we are first introduced to Asami, he's kind of like he comes off as being like calm, cool, and collected, and kind of cold.
Yeah.
And then by the end of the episode, he's like super frazzled. And then we go to episode 2 and see a completely different side of him, and I was just kind of like, you're kind of a punk.
Yeah.
I mean, straight. You did get waterboarded, but you're still.
He got waterboarded. He definitely did that.
I was like, oh, so this is how we're starting the episode. Oh, waterboarding the hero, awesome.
It was like a complete character change.
Yep.
Right. I was like, whoa, where does this come from? And I mean, even with the intro, like the intro music, like how it came on, and I feel like that's how Godanner started too. I feel like they got their inspiration from Godanner because there's the intro music where Asami is walking and he kind of looks to the side and then it does a character change. I feel like Godanner had the same thing, but it did it. But as the pilot was looking to his side, it did like a freeze frame, like on his face, like for dramatic effect or whatever. But that was like a huge character change for that. Now, episode 1 was more or less an introduction of the characters, not in a deep way, but it's definitely supposed to highlight Braver and the fact that this mecha can talk.
Yeah.
Like his mouth is moving and he has a personality, which that sword is cool now. That's a really cool sword that he did. Like he like, hey, get the sword. Say our signature maneuver, and which leads to episode 2, where you were saying he was getting waterboarded. And as I was looking at it, I was like, when a guy in a Hawaiian shirt shows up and you're sitting in a chair in a room and he walks in, you might be scared. You should be scared for your life. Anybody that relaxed, yeah, you're going to get tortured to like no end. But that didn't make sense to me. Did that make sense to you? Like the way that first episode started, like him getting tortured?
I didn't see it coming.
Yeah.
But then it doesn't necessarily not make sense to me because you have this giant mech robot that somebody climbed into and basically piloted, and now the nations are convinced that somebody has one up on the other, and so now they're trying to get to the bottom of it. I mean, he even said, he was like, you have a lot of people lined up to talk to you. Like you have MI6, did he say not the FBI? They're not high enough. MI6, some other organization, and he was like, "You better tell me what's going on because I'm the nice one compared to them."
Yeah.
But I'm not necessarily really that. I'm not surprised, but it was also unexpected because I just feel like generally in these types of anime, you would expect him to be celebrated.
Yeah.
I mean, they're having an entire conference with Bravern right now. He's down in some dark, secret underground area getting waterboarded. Like,
yeah, like that part didn't make sense to me. I was like, I mean, you should show something to lead up to that, because like this guy literally saved people's lives, like took out a major threat. Like this, like if it wasn't for Bravern or Asami, or Asami piloting Bravern, like there will be no episode 2. It would just be completely wiped out. And Bravern was like, well, paraphrasing, like, y'all need to unite. Y'all need to fight together, because if you thinking the U.S. got
when she was trying to she was talking in Japanese, like he couldn't understand her. He turned and looked and then started talking Japanese to her, and she was like, "Oh."
Yeah.
She's like, I apologize.
He's like, listen, no harm taking this, whatever. And then when he started explaining Asami, listen, you could see the faces at that conference table.
They were like,
this ain't weird.
Like people had their heads down. They were like this. They were like trying to like be calm while he's like chapter 1.
I'm like, bro, come on, man. Like even
nobody's gonna tell him. Nobody's gonna tell him. Okay.
Nah. Like that. This don't sound weird at all. And I was like, people got their heads down, especially the female commander. Like she was like, like her facial expression changed. Like you didn't see her facial expression actually change like an animation style, but you can just tell like lines is like in her eyes. It was like, this ain't weird. This is not weird. And then he was like, Mr. Bravern. He's like, Mr. Bravern, like cutting them off whenever they try to say his name. But which honestly, like I was trying to make sense of it all, but then I had to dismiss it just a little bit, because I'm like, I don't think this anime is designed to make total sense. And I think it's supposed to make fun of itself. But
yeah,
even while even while Asami was getting waterboarded, I was like, can't Bravern just break him out, just rip the roof off and just grab him?
That's what I was waiting for. Like him to get mad like Asami wasn't there. Yeah. And that's also why I was like, is this supposed to be like, is this a parody? Because it kind of, after episode 2, I was like, this really feels like it's a parody. Like, why is he talking like that?
Yeah.
What is he saying?
Like, he's speaking so heroically. But I am curious to find out where he came from.
Me too.
And how do he know about the death drives like that? Now, because when Superbia showed up, he knew what that mech was. He was like, listen, we're going to turn you. We're going to show you the error of your ways, that kind of thing. Asami is somewhere. I need Asami. Like, because it looks, so now we understand the weaknesses. Like, Bravern can't do it alone. He has to have a pilot. If he don't have a pilot, he could do but so much. He could do, like the extras or the minions or whatever, but it comes to like the main person.
Yeah.
He can't defeat it by himself.
Which is also interesting, the fact that he even has a cockpit that's designed for a human to pilot him, because when he was giving the explanation as to like what the death drives were, and he was saying that basically they're self-aware inorganic beings, they're machines that basically evolved to the point that they achieved consciousness. And then he also said, and then history basically went in the same way as your human civilization. And I'm like, well, what does he exactly mean by that? So, and I feel like he's also, I feel like this is a scenario where it's like Transformers.
Yeah.
Like you have two different factions, you had the Autobots and the Decepticons. And Bravern for all intents and purposes, be an Autobot, whereas Superbia and all of them would be like Decepticons. But they're essentially all from the same world.
Yeah.
They just brought their drama to Earth.
Yeah, because like typically like with Decepticons, like their robotic design is more like pointy, like, you know, have more like edgy points or whatever. And Superbia was like, the design of Superbia was like pointy and sharp or whatever the case may be. But it looks like one of those situations where the way Bravern was talking to Superbia is like, we're going to bring you over to our side, but we're going to have to show you. We just going to have to beat your ass in the process to show you. And then, which is interesting. I think I understood what he was saying though. Like, just not too much from your human civilization, because when he said it's basically AI, when you really think about it, he's like, oh, Skynet, Terminator. He's like, well, you know, they start developing and thinking on their own, and it was like, we really need humans, so we're gonna kill them. So, and if you look at like human history, I mean, there's a lot of red on the ledger, you know, when it comes to how things are conquered or whatever. So I think that was like I would say a lesson, really, to the commanders, who's like not much less than what y'all were doing, because y'all looked like y'all was about to do that too, because y'all was looking for a reason to be opposing of each other, because you first blamed the U.S. for this, but I'm telling you, a talking robot is telling you, no, that's not it. Like, but what you thought about the ending of episode 2, like after the credits roll?
Well, I'll back it up just a little bit. So I like how, one, we see Isami being more of a punk. He was really mad at Lieutenant Lewis, like, why did you bring me here? I don't want to do this. And so then Lewis jumps out and is like, Bravern, allow me to pilot you. And Bravern was like, no. It can only be Isami. I was like, are y'all dating? Because the way you rejected him, and then you could feel you like at the end, Lewis was like, it can only be him, huh? Like he was actually hurt.
Yeah,
he was real hurt. I mean, I would be too if I couldn't. The giant mech robot said I couldn't pilot them, and I really wanted to. But
right, you know, have that level of power. He's like, we got the same goals. We want to do the same thing. And Brave was like, oh, okay. Yeah, we can fight shit. Nope, we can't do that. It's just, I'm sorry. It just stopped. Like, huh?
And then, but it was also funny too, because Asami's in the background just watching this exchange, and he's like disgusted at this thing. It's like he's concerned and disgusted, but ultimately he ends up getting in Bravern, so it all worked out. So yeah, it's obvious that Bravern definitely needs him. But the ending credits though, or was it the ending credit? Did they have like a, like the 15-minute cutscene? Or did I miss it?
Yeah, you know how to, like with some anime, like they'll roll the credits, but then they have like a little mid-credit scene, like the tease the next episode. So with what happened, Smith was running on the beach, and it looked like he thought he tripped over some turtle eggs, but it was actually a young lady, and that was the pilot of Superbia. Because you remember where Bravern beat Superbia, like something
that's right.
shot out.
Yep.
Yeah. So something shot out, and it was actually the girl. It was a girl pilot. And
so they do have human civilization there, or some form of us. That's interesting. I normally don't wait until the end. I will fast forward to the next episode, so I didn't see that end credit scene. But there was what was I gonna say? I think there was a scene, and it wasn't like actually it was. But it's like Isami and Captain Lewis, but they're like naked from the chest up. Yeah. And so it, to me, because when the episode initially ended, before that teased scene, like why all of Isami's clothes disappeared. And then the admiral or whatever his name was like, "Where's Asami?" And Bravern was like, "It's kind of complicated." But the fact that Captain Lewis was kind of featured in that little cut scene as well, I wonder if he's gonna eventually get to pilot something like Bravern.
I think so, because you know how anime like used to drop Easter eggs and stuff.
Yeah.
Like whenever they do intros or outros or whatever. So I do think Lewis will have a mech of his own, or he may pilot the mech that young lady was piloting, or they might have to pilot something together because, and maybe there was something deeper what Bravern was saying. He was like, "Look, I would like you to pilot me because me and you got the same goals, but maybe you're not meant to pilot me. Maybe you're meant to pilot like something else that is more in sync with you." Like it seems like these mechs have personalities.
Yep.
So, especially Superbia. When Bravern was talking, Superbia kind of like was taken back at some points, but Superbia wasn't talking. So, but you could just, it
like made noise, like it wasn't actual audible speech, but Bravern was definitely talking to him, to it as if they knew each other. Yeah.
So, these was interesting 2 episodes, but
yeah. Definitely.
Definitely outside the box. I definitely correlate this with Goldanner, as far as the comedic tones and sexualization, like when it comes to things. But the mech battles is really, really cool to see, especially when Bravern is on the scene, because it's less CG and more animation.
Yep.
Type, and I respect that. So it's been a good while since a decent mecha anime out there. So we're gonna wait till episode 3 to actually talk about, but I'm pretty sure between me and you, we actually jumped on episode 3 or at least started it.
Yeah.
So, but next up, we're talking about Ninja Kamui episode 9. I'm gritting my teeth on this. You want to take?
Go ahead. No, you go ahead. You start and say, get it off your chest.
So, Ninja Kamui episode 9. Why in the flying hell would you kill Emma off? And we thought she was dead 2 episodes ago. You brought her back just to kill her? Well, I mean, you ain't really brought her back the first time. I mean, we thought she was dead. And then the next episode, you're like, okay, Joe saved her life. He intervened at the right time. She was just severely injured or whatever. But no. You're going to kill her off in this episode. Why? What was the purpose? Well,
it was like a big gotcha moment. Yeah. And I was really irritated. I was like, I was so irritated. Because out of all the characters, she was probably one of my favorites.
Yes.
And we were just getting to know her story. Also, seeing more of her relationship with Morris.
Yeah.
And I mean, he did actually finally acknowledge, I looked at her as my second daughter. And she was the one that saved him at the very end. And then, because her optics were damaged, he finally was able to see who she was, and it didn't bother him.
Yeah. Man, the episode, the whole episode was good up until that particular point. Like, D was upset that, why you bring, especially the head of Alza, he shows up with the military, and D was like, hey, and he was like, hey, no, I ain't here to interfere with your fight. I'm here to handle this situation over here. And even with that, they altered his gear. So
yeah, because he was gonna kill him anyways, because he failed the first time around, and he was mad about that, and then he ignored him because he was in the barbershop.
Getting the fade, man. You trying to make sure his.
I really don't like that character. I really don't like the head of Alza. I hope he really gets his comeuppance.
Yeah, he gotta go. Man.
Unequivocally.
This whole Emma situation really does, it really irritates me, because you don't have any other female characters except for Her name escapes me at the moment, but she's the assistant for the head of Bowser, and I want to. What is her name? What is her name? Her name escapes me right now. But yeah, she's the only female character left, technically speaking. And then, like you said, it was digging deeper into Morris's and her relationship. You saw her actually genuinely happy because she actually has a family now. Like, she has a family again. She got Joe, she got Morris, she got Jason, and that's her. You know, that was her family. So you got a little happy moment. Of course, you know, you got 3 more episodes left, and it probably will feel like another character or two gonna die. I hope it don't hit us with the. It don't hit us with the Cyberpunk Edge Runner deal.
Oh Lord, please don't.
The combat got killed type vibe.
Oh
like,
my goodness.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Don't do that.
Those two together, I was traumatized. And I know I watched Cyberpunk Edge Runners like way after it came out.
Yeah.
And I got to that last episode and I was like, especially when they killed off Rebecca, I was like, she was the best character.
I really did love Rebecca. I really did.
She did not care. Like, I loved her.
That's my only gripe with that episode, man. It's just that Emma. Why'd you have to kill Emma off? Like, see, like, to me, between her and Morris, they had the most. Well, actually, technically, Jason too. Jason, Morris, and Emma has the most personality on that side, on the protagonist side. Joe don't really have that much of a personality because, you know, he dealt with some severe trauma, and he's on his quest for revenge. On top of all that, who's going to work on his gear? I mean, I know Jason can do it, but Jason's not Emma. So how's that going to work out?
Well, that and the fact that, you know, Emma was designated as the Watcher, so who's going to pick the next leader of the organization? The fact that she's died leads me to believe that there really isn't going to be a future for the organization.
Yeah, but isn't Emma's secret technique like resurrection or something like that?
It is. I forgot about that. Well, yeah, because Mari taught it to her.
Yeah, so it was really Mari's technique, but she knows it. Is it one of them situations where she might come back?
You know, that's a great question. I guess we can hold our breath and wait and see. It would be wonderful if she did, because I mean, it would definitely give her advantage if everyone thought that she was, especially Alza, if they thought that she was gone.
Yeah.
Then she could operate more in a secret space.
That's true. That's true.
I didn't think about that. That is a good observation.
I'm just keeping my fingers crossed here. Like,
yep.
I'm just hoping for that. I'm hoping for like maybe the last episode, she just pops up and you're like, remember the secret technique that I know, that kind of thing, because you know that what she did to save Joe's life. And she has her own. Did she reveal her own secret technique? Because Mari showed her that her technique, but did Emma ever show her secret technique?
I don't think so.
Huh?
I don't remember seeing one. I don't remember her doing that.
What if hers is like body double? Like, yeah, or when she have like, you know, a clone, like a little, you know, little shadow clone she got, and her real body somewhere else. I mean, that's what happened in Invincible, but that death really did piss me off. I was like, God,
agreed.
Why did this happen? And I was kind of mad at Dee's death too, because D, even though he was a bad guy, he was an honorable bad guy. It was kind of like, I'm not going to tell anybody else about this. I want to fight Joe one-on-one. I don't want no other interference. I don't want no foul play involved. I want to see his skills against my skills. And if I lose, whatever, I lost. And he was content. Like, when she got stabbed in the chest, he was content. He was like, hey, man, listen, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know.
Up until he realized old boy messed with his suit.
Yeah.
And he was super pissed off.
So he truly didn't get his ending like he wanted to. Yeah, out there, the head of Owl's got to go. He had to go. And he has to die in the worst way. But I hope Morris is the one that kills him. Listen, speaking of Morris, man, listen, bro been going off. He was like, hey, what about these back here? Emma was like, any other firearm. Bet. I got it.
He came up strapped.
I
was like, oh, you got the Terminator minigun. Okay.
That man was going off. I like Morris's favorite toys, man. Just let him have
I'ma shoot it.
I'ma shoot it.
Mike, I'ma shoot it, Morris.
Oh, man. Like, playing that character to a T. So, how you feel about Jason in this episode? You feel like he just brought everybody together with food?
Yeah, he's funny.
Yeah.
For him to be as scaredy cat ish as he is, he's funny. He actually does contribute.
Yeah.
They were like, oh, you know, you have domestic skills. And then he got all offended. And then him and Mike were arguing, like basically a husband and wife.
Yeah.
While Emma and Joe were just like, but Emma actually found like, she was like, this is my family. That's like,
yeah. She was generally happy. And Morris was like, hey, why my plate a little smaller than everybody else's?
He was mad. He was pissed.
He was not happy. And he like, the way Jason made it sounded, he made shrimp fried rice out of just scraps in the house. Like, how'd you do that? What'd you make this out of? Joe was sitting there cross-legged eating, man. Like this, that's probably like the most personality that I've seen out of Joe Hagan since the first episode. It was like, he was enjoying himself eating that fried rice. He was like,
yep.
Man, this shit fire. That's what this is. Y'all fight over there, but I'm gonna just eat this fried rice.
Yep.
Emma the same way. And like, whatever. Y'all fight amongst yourselves. I'm gonna go on my computers after this, but 3 more episodes. Vivo, like, how you think this thing gonna end?
Hopefully with Alza burning in the ashes.
I think so. I think it's one of these anime that's only like a 1 season only type of thing.
Yeah, Joe probably is gonna go with it, but I mean, that's kind of how they were setting it up.
Yeah.
So far, so
they got foreshadowing there. Like you keep using that.
Yo, we didn't even talk about the fact that Zai has his own. Is it Gokuso gear?
Yeah.
And his looks sweet. Oh, it's gonna end with a final battle or showdown between them two, for sure.
That or Zai might turn.
Valid.
Might be a plot twist. And now, so I said his name in the last episode too. He's like the head of the Ninja Corps.
Yamaji.
Yeah. He was talking to the head of Alza, and the head of Alza was like insulting him. Basically, he was like, "I would tell your ninjas to commit seppuku." He was like, "That's samurai, you idiot." It was like, he's gonna kill him. That
was just clear indication that their relationship or cooperation is tenuous at best.
Yes, business only.
Because Yamaji basically threatened him. He was like, we wipe scum like you off the face of this planet.
Yeah.
So essentially, Yamaji is basically using Alza for his own means.
Yeah.
But old boy thinks that he has all the cards. I'm like, no, I don't think that's not gonna work for you.
No, not at all. And then on top of that, we forget about the doctor that treated Joe Hagan's injuries. Like, he hasn't showed up since. You're good, you're taped up, I'm out.
Yep.
So I wonder if he's gonna show up at the end. But we got 3 episodes left for Ninja Kamui, and hopefully it ends. Hopefully I have some sort of a happy ending. Like, I feel like it's not a whole lot of anime that ends on a sad ending. A Kamikaze got killed is very traumatizing.
Yep.
That should never be your first introduction to anime. It wasn't mine. I don't think it's anybody's. I hope it wasn't. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy.
Whoever does that, uses that as a gateway anime for other people, is doing nasty work right there.
That's nasty work. Nasty work. Dirty pool. Dirty pool.
I'm like,
Cyberpunk Edge Runners, man. Whew. When that dude was peeing and he got his head locked off, I was like,
Yo.
oh boy. I was like, oh my gosh. But yeah, so far, man, we got 3 more episodes of Ninja Kamui. And we have a third guest here.
This is Homeboy.
Homeboy. Wow. Cat named Homeboy. But yeah, so we got 3 more episodes of Ninja Kamui left, and of course we're racking our brains as far as like new anime we're gonna cover after Ninja Kamui. And I'm gonna let you know right now for the Geek Corner members that Windbreakers is definitely part of that list, and Go Go Loser Rangers is on that list as well. I did watch the first episode of Windbreakers, and
yeah, the animation took me. I was like, this is really good. But at first I was like, is this related to Tokyo Revengers? Like, did I miss something? Like, did I miss an entire season? Like, what's happening? But then I was like trying to find, it looks good.
Yeah.
It gives Tokyo Revengers vibes, but the animation is like much better.
Yeah. I think Tokyo Revengers, just by judging for this first episode of Windbreakers to Tokyo Revengers seems a little more grounded, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
As far as what they're doing. But Windbreakers seems a little bit over the top tones in it.
Okay.
And it's not as serious, but it does have some serious tones in it, if that makes sense. And then Go Go Loser Rangers, man. That first episode was hilarious. But
okay, now I'm gonna definitely watch it.
Yeah, Hulu got some exclusives, man. Oh, yes, and another anime that will be on the voting list is Bartender.
What's that?
So I seen. So the first episode of Bartender. I haven't seen the first episode, but I see the trailer. So basically, this particular bartender, he makes these drinks or whatever, and anybody, I think it's episodic too. So when everybody comes in, got whatever issue they got going on, he makes a drink specifically for them, and I think it's called a gift from God or something like that. That's what he calls it. And so my drink is not going to be the same as yours.
Mm-hmm.
But say I got an issue with the boss or something like that or whatever, he gives you a drink to give you some clarity or whatever, and then you come back and you made a decision, or you're better. He's like a therapist, but he's a bartender.
I need to visit that bartender.
Yeah, like people was talking about it. I was like, yo, because I seen it on like Urban Anime Lounge. I've seen it on Black Anime Nerd. Shout out to band. Even in our own group, like the Geek Corner. And on TikTok, I was like, okay. I haven't watched the first episode, but Bartender is definitely on that list. So Go Go Loser Rangers, Windbreaker, and Bartender is on the list. And I'm gonna still put in Sensuality Noir in there because that was like the second highest in there. But that is our show for today. And you got anything else for the listeners out there?
Nope. You all have the stop trying to eat things that don't belong in your. No, I don't have anything additional. We're gonna continue getting more into Bravern, and we'll give you our thoughts, additional
thoughts, man. And so that is our show for today. So until next time, y'all, peace.
Bye. Stop it. Stop.